Hey guys, here we are in the NASCAR Cup Series car at the Charlotte Road Course for a track guide. In this video I'm going to show you an onboard lap in full speed around the track, and then I'm going to do a slow motion analysis of the lap, and at the end I'm just going to show a few more angles of the lap. So without further ado, let's watch the onboard lap. So that was a 121.293, and now onto the slow motion analysis of the lap. So, as we're coming up to the final start of the lap, again, just being patient on the throttle. You don't want to get too much wheel spin as we're approaching the first corner. I'm going to go up to a quarter slow motion here, kind of looking at the three board, and kind of once your car gets right past it, getting onto the brakes. Getting onto the brakes about 70 to 75% brake pressure. And again, really focusing on straight line braking. You don't want to put too much wheel into the car. You don't want to focus on getting closer to the turn-in point. Really focusing on going wide, almost angled to the right side wall. And then you can see them trailing off into 40 or 30% brake pressure. Finally getting to the apex curve, and then you see finally getting back on the gas. So partial gas, and the rear really likes to start sliding once you put on the gas here as you're going uphill as well. So just be careful not sliding too much. You don't want to be too aggressive here. I'm just kind of like managing the throttle around 50%, letting off, really trying to get the car close to the inside wall here. Really not using anything, waiting for the car to kind of catch in the rear, doing a little counter steering. Now we're back to about 50% throttle. So again, I'm not really getting to full throttle yet because taking too much speed into this double right-hander is only going to hinder me, since you're going to be slowing down immediately, as you can see. So you're going to treat this double right-hander almost like one corner, with your first apex at the end of this blue sausage curve. So kind of aiming right there, and kind of, you can see just a bit of gas to keep your momentum throughout the corner. Basically bring your car all the way to that blue line, and then this corner is almost one of the most important on the track. You don't want to apex too early here. You really focus on a late apex so you can get back to the throttle. You want to use up all the curbing on the exit, and this is almost one of your best overtaking spots. If someone gets on the throttle too early and they end up having to lift on exit, then you can get by them. So don't be the guy that apexes too early here. You want to focus on as late of an apex as possible. And yeah, I mean, if you apex early, you might end up getting in the grass, or you're going to have to let off the way you don't run wide. So you can see I'm still having to manage the throttle a bit. I'm just going to play this half speed so you can see as I'm getting back on the throttle, a lot of oversteer in the back, having to do some correction. So that's only going to be worse if you get in the gas too early. So for this next corner, it's really hard to judge when to start braking, but one thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to show and play this in full speed for a minute here and just listen to the throttle. So you can kind of almost use the RPMs like maybe like 87, 88, or just like right when it's at the edge of like the rev limit as a braking point if you can't really see anything around you. But again, apexing right to the blue curve and braking right when you like hear the end of that rev revving sound, I guess. So again, half braking over here, and then this next corner, it's so important to hug it tight. So you can kind of see how the curbing, it's like straight here, and then it kind of tightens up there, and there's a bit of like empty space here. You're almost aiming for like the empty space to bring your car in. So you're just tapping the brake, getting the car very to the edge here. And if you bring the car extra wide, you're going to be stuck way over on the left here as you're approaching a left-hander. So it's going to be a horrible entry approach. So you want to bring your car as far over to the right, that way you can turn in and get a wide angle. And then see this car getting right over the crest. The car's going to get very light. See, I'm a lot of counter steer here, just really trying to balance the car, and then getting back on the brake, almost turn the car into the next apex here. So you're using more of the brakes for rotation than the wheel at this point. Getting back on the throttle, but being very patient till you get on the banking. The banking is going to stabilize the car, and see once again the banking up to like 80% throttle, and then just about immediately up to full throttle. So I'm just going to skip through this point, just 2 times speed once you're up to full throttle. And then as we're finally approaching the backstretch, this is one of our longest straight line braking zones in the whole track. So looking at the 5 board, and just after the 5 board, getting on the brakes is basically as hard as you can. I don't know if you want to lock up 100%, but like 90% straight line braking. Don't want to downshift too fast or else you can get wheel hop, but like 90% braking until you start getting up to like the 1 board, which is when you might start trailing off the brakes. So as you can see, still 90% braking, still in 2nd gear, and finally down to 1st gear right about here. And I think you might be able to see, yeah, right there at the clutch. So very late downshift to 1st. And while you want to obviously make the chicane, you don't want to take too much speed into it. I would say the most important part of the chicane, honestly, is look at the brakes right here. And you can see once you make that 1st corner, we're going to apply some more brake to get all the weight down the front, and it'll help rotate the car. Because a lot of these times it's hard to get the car to turn around the 2nd point. And so again, I'm just going to play through here at full speed, and you can see how that braking rotates the car. And I feel like if you end up just waiting for the car to rotate, that's going to lose you a lot of time. So really important just to get that last bit of braking in as you approach that right-hander of the chicane. Cutting a lot of the exit there just to shorten up the track distance. And as we're up to full throttle, looking for a final braking zone as we approach the chicane on the front stretch here. And so obviously you have the blue line to reference for in a brake, but if you look on the left-hand side, you can see like this triple line or these triple dots. That's also really good reference to brake. Maybe throughout the race, I'm braking just a bit past it. So before the end of the blue line, maybe like right between those 3 dots and the end of the blue line. So again, maybe not 100% braking, like 80% or so, managing around 65 or 65%, but just keep that threshold braking. Don't start trail braking until as late as possible here. So again, 80%, and then as soon as I start turning in, you can see the braking starting to trail off. You don't want to attack these curbs too much or else they'll unsettle the car, but really get as much of the red and white as you can. So as you can see, once we finally get past this red and white curb, just get back onto the gas fully and see a lot of wheel spin in the back, just counter steering, don't hit the wall on the exit, and that's a lap around the Charlotte Roval. So hopefully that track guide was helpful, and now I'm just going to play a few more angles of the lap. So first, here's a chase view. Before we show the final TV view, I just want to point out that while this is um, a video on how to get a good fast qualifying lap, I would say the key for the race is probably going to be managing those rear tires, not burning them up. So just be patient on the throttle throughout the race, and I think you'll do so well. So without further ado, here's the TV view lap. So hopefully this lap guide helped you guys. Thanks for watching and good luck on your races.